Harold was 78 when he realized that peace wasn't something that arrived quietly with old age. It had to be claimed, sometimes even fought for. He had always believed that time would mellow the sharp edges of people, that age would make room for understanding and forgiveness. But now, sitting alone on his back porch, he understood something else. The company you keep matters more than ever when your time becomes more precious than your energy. He had always been surrounded by people, siblings, cousins, old friends, children, grandchildren. Some he loved dearly, others drained him like a slow leak in a tire. But he kept them around out of loyalty, history, or guilt. Until one day, after a family gathering left him exhausted and bitter, Harold sat down with a notebook and wrote one sentence: I need fewer people, not more, and only the ones who bring peace. That night, he began listing the kinds of people he realized he could no longer afford to keep close, even if they were family. 1. The constant critic. Aunt Margaret had never said a kind word without dressing it in vinegar. "Oh, you're wearing that?" she'd ask. "You really should see someone about your weight." For years, Harold had laughed it off. But now, her voice stayed with him longer than her presence. The older he got, the more he saw the cost. Criticism without compassion is corrosion, and no one, not even family, has the right to make you feel small when you've spent a lifetime trying to grow. 2. The victim. His cousin Walter never had a good day. The government, the neighbors, his children, the doctors, everyone was out to get him. Every phone call turned into a monologue of complaints. Harold used to feel sorry for him, but sympathy turned to resentment. You can only carry someone so far before they begin to sit on your shoulders. Harold realized he was allowed to say, "I hope things turn around for you," and then hang up the phone. 3. The competitor. Family reunions with his brother Tom felt like job interviews. Who had the better retirement plan, the better behaved grandchildren, the cleaner bill of health? Tom turned every conversation into a subtle contest, and Harold always left feeling less. There comes a time when life is not a scoreboard, it's a sanctuary. You don't need to defend your choices. You need people who are simply glad you exist. 4. The user. Harold's niece, Clara, only called when she needed something: money, a signature, a babysitter. She never stayed to talk, never asked how he was, never showed up when he needed help with his garden or a ride to the doctor. But he kept saying yes because family is family, until he realized that loyalty is not servitude. The people who only find you when it's convenient don't deserve the moments you fought hard to protect. 5. The gossip. He used to chuckle when his neighbor Dolores shared the latest dirt, but now it made him uneasy. She spoke in whispers and smiled with secrets, and every time he heard her talk about someone else, he wondered what she said about him. At this stage in life, trust is more valuable than entertainment. Harold started choosing silence over chatter and clarity over charm. 6. The time traveler. His friend Marty lived in the past. Every visit was a rewind, what they used to do, how much better things were, how good they looked back then. Nostalgia has its place, but Harold began to crave presence. The people who only look backward tend to miss what's beautiful now, and Harold had too few seasons left to walk through them with someone who kept turning around. 7. The resentful one. There was someone in the family who held on to every wrong, every slight, every misunderstanding. It didn't matter if it happened in 1972 or last week. Ellen remembered it, and she brought it up. "You never came to my recital," she'd say. "You always liked him better." Harold tried for years to patch things, to apologize for things he didn't remember doing. But he finally saw the truth. Some people don't want healing. They want leverage. He let go, not out of cruelty, but because some peace comes from no longer trying. 8. The pretender. This one was the hardest. His youngest daughter, Lila, always smiled at holidays, always bought nice gifts, always said the right things, but she never stayed long, never called without being prompted. She was polite, but absent, kind, but distant. And Harold grieved that more than any open conflict. Eventually, he stopped pretending it didn't hurt. He stopped forcing closeness. Sometimes, it's not the loudest people who drain you. It's the ones who are never really there. After making the list, Harold sat quietly. He didn't feel angry. He felt clear. And in the weeks that followed, he made small changes. Fewer invitations, shorter phone calls, boundaries where guilt used to live. He didn't write anyone out of his life completely. He just moved them to the edges. Not everyone is meant to stay in the front row. And something unexpected happened. Into the quiet spaces, better things arrived. Neighbors who showed up just to chat. A new friend from the senior center who asked more questions than he answered. Time to read. Time to nap. Time to breathe. His days were slower, but lighter. Growing old, Harold learned, isn't just about accepting the years. It's about protecting your peace, even from the people who share your blood, especially from them if they don't treat your time with care. You don't owe your energy to those who treat it like an afterthought. You owe it to yourself to spend your final chapters in good company. And for Harold, that made all the difference.